Hi everybody, welcome to a yin practice with me. My name is Christina Garcia and I look forward to being your guide for the next hour. We're going to do some heart opening throughout this practice. So why don't we just go ahead and grab 2 blocks. If you have them, you can pause this video if you need to and go get those blocks and then come on back. So we are going to open ourselves up, feet forward towards the end of our mat. Take the first block at any height that you like. It's the beginning, it's the morning class, so take it a little bit lower to begin with. Bring the chest down to the ribs, the lower ribs and the upper ribs, because we're opening up the heart space and not the kidney space. Take the second block and place it underneath your head and let your palms be open. So here we're just gently opening up through the chest, finding some space just to breathe in here, connecting to the breath that God gave you. So as you start to open up your heart, recognize your breath, your normal cadence. God gave you your own specific breath. And as you start to feel the ground and your body connect, see if you can exhale out any tension or stress or fear you might have for today. Come to a place where you feel your chest opening, your heart, your shoulders relax. I'm going to read from Ezekiel 36. For I will gather you up from all the nations, bring you home again to your land. I will gather you up from all the nations, and I will bring you home again to your land. Then I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. So as we open up our heart, just take a moment to recognize what's in your heart today, and just opening yourself up, submitting your heart, opening to the Lord. We take this time to commune, and that's to have a conversation, to be in the presence of God as we open up our body. So we're going to spend a few more minutes here. And as you ask God to make you clean, you ask for anointing for this day. Father, anoint my breath and my mind and the words out of my mouth and every step that I take. So as you start to become present with your physical body, let your spiritual self connect with God. So follow your breath from the lowest part of your belly to the crown of your head, and then exhaling it out. Be aware of the physical body. intentionally breathing. After the next exhale, start to breathe in about 90% of your lung capacity. And then pause with that full lung. And then gently release out. Completing the breath. Pausing at the base of your breath, feeling the emptiness. Trusting that the next breath will come. Try 3 more breaths that way. Now let's fill our lungs to 100%, filling up all the way. And when you think that your lungs are as full as they can be, take another inhale in. And then hold, feeling the extreme full, and then gently releasing out. And when you release out, see if you can release all of the breath and the air out, lifting up through the belly, pushing a little bit more air out, holding that emptiness. And then come back into your normal rhythm of breathing. Set a focus for your time on your mat. What is it that you're seeking today, physically or spiritually? Father, you know our heart's desire. We open ourselves up to be in your presence. Come to us, Father. We choose vulnerability today in the heart and in the body and the mind. And we seek your wisdom and your grace today. Start to roll off your mat, off of these blocks, coming over into a fetal position, coming into this fetal position, round and curl, chin to chest, holding here. Just taking care of that inner person inside of you, the one that talks to you all day long. And then inhale, start to bring it up, a seated form. So we're going to come into a seated form, butterfly. So remove the flesh from the sit bones, bring the soles of the feet together. You can utilize your blocks in a couple different ways. You can prop up your knees here, or you can bring the blocks in front of you. So let's see if we can remove the flesh from the sit bones first. Sitting up nice and tall. We want to alleviate that round in the lower lumbar by lifting up through the top rib bone, expanding through the spine, lifting up through the lower belly, and then bringing it forward. Now, once you bring it forward, you can let those shoulders round, chin toward chest. Try not to analyze if you're doing it perfect. If you're just coming into a place that's comfortable for your body, then that's where you need to be. So taking it, rounding and curling it, propping up the knees here, as I am, or you can take those blocks to your feet and just drop your head down. So we're going to stay here for about 3 minutes and find your breath right here as you're folding forward and your connection with your mind and your body. Start to recognize how your body is operating today, and maybe you can take an exhale and release a little bit more. And remember, we're doing 80–70% of a form, so we're trying not to force it into 110%. We're allowing the body to ease itself open. And maybe if you find tension in your jaw or parts of your body, you ease it out a little bit so that you're allowing the body the gentleness that it desires to open up in this form. Start to ease yourself up here and be kind of gentle, taking the blocks away from wherever you're at, hands behind. Gently bring those knees in and windshield wiper those legs. Just give it a nice little windshield wiper right here. And walking it up, we're going to come to shoelace pose. So we're going to bring the left knee into the middle of the heart, right into the chest. Take the right leg up and over, and see if you can sink that right hip down towards the ground, sitting up nice and tall. So you can just sit up nice and tall. If that's where you need to be today, you can have the option of folding it forward, or you can walk your hands back. And I'm going to just walk my hands back because we're doing heart openers today. So if that's really the place you need to be, you can take your heart up. 3 minutes. We're sinking into this. Find some depth in this breath that God's given you and throughout your body. As you come into this form, see if you can release anything that builds up as tense, utilizing the exhales as we exhale it into his hands. And we get to breathe in the spirit, allowing God to mold us and to cleanse us here. Few more breaths. Then gently walk it forward. As you walk it forward, we're going to open up these legs nice and wide, coming into dragonfly. Once again, removing the flesh from the sits bones, taking one block and then the other in front of you. So sitting up nice and tall. So we're going to lift up through that lower belly and then fold it forward. So coming to that form as we fold it forward, we're going to come there for 3 minutes. So I'll read on from Ezekiel 36, and this is what it says. I'm going to read it from the top, and then I'm going to add some more of this for this chapter in there. For I will gather you up from all the nations, and bring you home again to your land. I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. Your filth will be washed away, and you will no longer worship idols. So as we're folding forward here, maybe you recognize the idols in your life right now. What might those be? What takes up your time, and where does your focus go? What takes you away from convening and having communion with the Lord? So coming into that place where you recognize, letting God shape your heart and your mind to recognize what you're worshiping at this time. Give yourself permission to just soften as your breath lets you ease into it a little bit more. So it goes on to say, Ezekiel 36:26 says, I will give you a new heart, and I will put in a new spirit in you. I will take out your stony, stubborn heart and give you a tender, responsive heart. So maybe you envision as you're folding forward and you're allowing that change to happen within you. It is active, right? It's a choice to let things move and things to be new, and to remove what is old, stony, stubborn, and choose something new, tender, and responsive. And start to roll this up nice and slow and gentle. Remove the blocks, take them to the side. And we're going to take that right knee in towards the middle of the body. And we're going to take that left leg up and over. Don't be alarmed if one side's different than the other, and it is for me. So get that left hip down towards the ground, lift up tall through the crown of the head, and maybe you just sit in that verse here, or maybe you do what you did before, lean back or take it forward. Find some opening that's good for you. Find the freedom to move how you need to. mind to muscle, coming back inside your body here, thinking about what you're doing, breathing in the oxygen from the air and infusing it in your body, finding health and harmony here. Few more breaths. And start to release, bringing those feet forward, giving them a nice little shake. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's reach those hands up, reach one hand higher than the other. Just opening up through the body here. Nice, and let's come onto tabletop. So taking those blocks to the top of your mat, come into tabletop, bring those knees to the earth. And spread those fingers nice and wide. Here we're going to do heart, melting heart form, okay? So we're gonna walk the hands forward, spreading those fingers wide. And you can drop your forearms to the earth here and take your forehead to the earth. And you can allow a little sway in your back here. And that is just fine. You're gonna see if you can bring your chest down towards the ground eventually. Your head may start just on a block here as you start to open up. You can take your elbows wider if you need to. We're gonna be here for 3 minutes, so think about how deep you're going to go. Try not to go 110% because you'll be gritting your teeth later, so coming into a place that's right for you. Mind to muscle. Remember, come out of it if you're feeling it's too deep, or go further in if you need to be in it a little bit more as your body starts to open. Couple more breaths right here. Take it nice and easy, breathing into your body, releasing anything that has come up. And then take your forehead to the ground. Walk your elbows back. Bring it right back up into that tabletop. So we're finding that tabletop. You can do a cat pose, just rounding the back if you feel like it. Bring yourself level, tuck those toes in that tabletop and bring it back. So we're coming into this tabletop here. So shoulders over hips, hips over the heels. Now we're opening up the feet. Too much for your knees. Roll up your mat, put it underneath, put a blanket underneath your knees, or bring your hips over your knees here, okay? So, but we want to tuck the toes. So if it's too much pressure for your feet, you're going to bring your hips over your knees here, okay? If you need more, you're going to just sit down and shoulders over and let those shoulders just drop. Inhale, bring those hands overhead. So we start here 3 minutes. I'm going to set my timer. Bring it up. So we're bringing it up here, rising up. Identify that right hand. Bring those right fingertips between the shoulders, left hand to the elbow and lift it up. So we're lifting up here. Maybe shut down your eyes. We're going to take 6 nice, long, full breaths here. Mind to body. Where do you feel this? Take it into your upper body here. And start to release that right arm and bring it all the way across the body. Left arm up and under, and just bring that right arm over to the left. And after you do that, keeping both shoulders pointing forward, see if you can draw that right shoulder back, get a nice little stretch. And you can just drop your left ear to the left shoulder if you want here too, a little bit more. We're going to spend 6 breaths here. And start to release. Bring those hands overhead and identify that left hand. Bend that left elbow, bringing the fingertips to the middle between the blades. Take that right hand to the left elbow, lift it up. Chin level, draw that belly in. Taking some stock in what you're doing here. 6 breaths. If you can start to get heat and anything that's super uncomfortable coming to any other parts of your body, so breathe into that area. For your body is not your own, yes? If it becomes overwhelming, just lift the hips up if your hips are down. So, and then setting it back down, giving yourself some ease into that form. Thinking about the upper body now, where do you feel this? Lift the elbow a little bit higher. And then start to release, bring that left arm across the body, right arm up and under, and then just pull it over to the other side of the body, and then take that left shoulder back. 6 breaths. Start to release. Bring those hands overhead. Give it all to the Lord, and then exhale. Bring it down to your heart center. Hands to the earth here. Oh, yes. Tabletop. Give some ankle circles here. Point and flex those toes. Any organic movement for your feet is fabulous. Give them a nice little tap, and then walk those knees back, bringing your belly towards the earth, coming into Sphinx pose. So elbows underneath shoulders here, palms down, lift up through the crown of the head. You can bring a chin to a block if you like, bringing the elbows forward, making it a little bit gentler, depending on what your body's desiring today, okay? So listen to what's happening in your body. can walk it back if you need more today. Rising up. See if you can lift up to the lower belly so it relaxes your glute muscles a little bit. Pay attention to where your body reacts to that. A little bit of movement through the muscles. If you wanted to go a little bit further, take your hands out towards the side and gently lift up through the heart. So now here you are lifting up into seal. So shoulders down and back, lift up through the heart, lift up through the lower belly to protect the lower back. Now if you get there, just walk those hands out a little bit more if it's too much, or walk your hands back if you desire more. You've got this, a few more breaths here. If you're gritting, if you find tension, just gritting your teeth, just lower down. Find some ease in this practice, 80%. And then remove any blocks or anything out of your way. Bring your forehead to the mat. Bring your hands by your side, palms up. Just take a moment, let go of those glutes, let your body acclimate to being flat on your belly. Hands underneath the shoulders, gently press it up, take it into the child's pose, taking it all the way back this time. Just 6 breaths right here, just a counter move. Bringing it right back up into tabletop here. So as we come back, we're gonna come to our hips. So turning around and sitting, knees to chest, slowly lower down towards the earth. Bring the knees into the chest here. So bringing the knees into the chest, separate your knees, finding that child's pose on your back here. Finding it might be a little easier to not have so much pressure on the knees. So we're gonna take 6 breaths, recognizing this form. We're just doing it the opposite direction. Heart up instead of heart down. So I always say, like, heart down, it's a point of submission. So we're submitting into the Lord. And then turning around, it's like, mold me, change me, you know my heart. Great affirmations there for you. So think about going into that happy baby. You can just keep your hands on your ankles here, flat back, tailbone down towards the ground. Don't worry about if the feet are pointed or flexed. You can go into anything you like, or you can gently just place the hands on the back of the thighs, relaxing the shoulders. Taking those inhales of restoration and exhales, releasing any tension, hurts, pains, discomfort. We got about 2 more minutes left here. If you think about 2 minutes in breath times, it can be as short as 6 nice full breaths, depending on your breath length, or to 10, 6 to 10 breaths. So if you don't have a stopwatch and you want to do it at home, just count your breaths. Almost there. About 3 more nice full breaths. Maybe you choose to connect and release. And then start to release, bringing those knees into the chest. Do some knee circles here. Any kind of movement here that feels good. Then lower the feet down towards the ground. Align the feet with the hip sockets, the hip bones, and knees with hips. So we're going to bring our thighs together here in just a moment. Bring the hands down by your side and inhale. Lift up the pelvis and shift the hips over to the right, dropping that left hip down. Then drop the left knees over and eye gaze to the right. So into this side twist. Now you can eagle wrap if you need more, those legs, taking the right leg over the left, or just placing a pillow or blanket underneath those knees, lifting them up a little bit so that right shoulder connects to the earth. And settle in, 3 minutes. then start to bring your knees back up. Shift those hips back into neutral, shoulders down, hands down by your side. Just take a moment to resonate here with your body, your breath again, finding a total connection to who God's created you to be. And then press through the feet, lift the hips up this time, and shift the hips over to the right, dropping the right hip down, bringing the right knees out to the right, hands open. So coming into this side belly twist, taking that block to this knee as well. We spend 3 minutes right here, just resonating, just breathing. See if you can relax those shoulders down, lengthen your neck. And then as you do those intentions, that active movement to come to 70-80%, then see if you can exhale out that movement of those muscles, and you can relax into it, ease into it.
Few more breaths of connection here.
Three more nice long full breaths. Start to bring those knees up, bring the hips underneath the shoulders, hands down by your side, finding awareness here. Take an inhale of awareness and then an exhale of release. See if you can melt or get heavy onto your mat. Maybe you melt into God's hands right now. Begin to extend your feet out. Maybe bring your hands overhead. Give yourself that good stretch through the body. Maybe come into a star pose on the ground, creating energy that is a light from the Lord. Just infuse it into your heart, into your mind, or perhaps your hands. Just some choices today, hands by your side, and you find some time to resonate in being still. Letting go, dying to yourself, the need to be right, perfect. Letting go of comparison and competition. How about those idols? Have you recognized one or two? Just releasing them. As a mom, I often lift my children up as my idols, and I idolize my children. And maybe you can resonate with that as a mom today, that you just let God have your children, and today you connect with the Holy Spirit and be with Jesus today as you breathe and move and go throughout your day, your evening, whenever you view this video. So I'll read Ezekiel 36 once again. It says, "For I gather up all the nations and bring them home again to your land. Then I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. Your filth will be washed away, and you will no longer worship idols. And I will give you a new heart. I will put a new spirit in you. I will take out your stony, stubborn heart and give you a tender, responsive heart. And I will put my spirit in you so that you will follow my decrees and be careful to obey my regulations." And then it goes on here and it says, "Oh, you will live and you will live in Israel, the land I gave your ancestors long ago." This is the part that I think really stands out for me and maybe to you. It says, "You will be my people, and I will be your God." Maybe you take a few words out of that verse and it stands out to you. Then I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. Your filth will be washed away, and you no longer worship other idols. Maybe you envision a new heart with a new spirit entering you today in Shavasana. As you let go of the past and the old ways, you convene with the new and let His Spirit guide you as you start to obey His laws, His ways, as we start to take one step closer to being more like Jesus. And we will be His, and He will be our God. Thank you for coming to Yin class today. I welcome you to stay in meditation a little bit longer. Maybe you have that communion, that place with God right now that you've let go, and find some stillness. I wish you peace and harmony and newness in your life throughout this day. Let God be your guide. Peace be with you.